Welcome to Life Talk, our monthly podcast that dives into crucial topics concerning the sanctity of life. I'm Bishop John Dolan, your host today, and I'm assisted by Marina Salvador-Velazquez from the Office for Respect Life Ministries. Today we're going to talk about Nuestros Pequeños Hermanos, or NPH, and its rich and local history and the international footprint and impact it makes today. Welcome to today's guest, Belinda Roda, who is the Donor and Relations Manager at the Phoenix NPH Office, and Father Mike Straley, who is a well-known member of the Diocese of Phoenix for many, many years, and also very, very much integrated in NPH.
Definitely.
So welcome to you both.
Thank you.
So can you just give us a general overview of Hermanos, Nuestros Pequeños Hermanos? Can you just talk a little bit about that? Maybe, Belinda, if you wouldn't mind just sharing just a little bit about that and how you kind of came into this world.
Certainly. Well, let me just give you a little bit of a rich history about NPH. It was started in Mexico in 1954 by Father William Wasson, who was a resident. He grew up here in Phoenix. He graduated St. Mary's High School, and he was in the seminary up here, but had to leave. And he was in Mexico City teaching at the University of Americas. But he was still telling people that he wanted to be a priest. And somebody said, well, go visit the bishop in Cuernavaca. And sure enough, the bishop welcomed him, ordained him in 1953. In 1954, he had a beautiful little parish just off the Zocalo in Cuernavaca. We've been there many times. And somebody stole the poor box. Oh. So the sacristan was like, I'm going to get this person. Stayed up the next night. Sure enough, the little person came back. He took him to jail and said to Father Wasson, you need to go down and press charges. So Father Wasson went down, but what he found was a young boy. And he asked him why he did that. And he said, because I was living on the streets, I have no money, and I was hungry. So Father Wasson talked the police chief into taking this young man home. He did. The first month, the police chief brought him 8 more. Within the first year, he had 60. So that was the beginning of Nuestros Pequeños Hermanos in Mexico. And in the early 1960s, we welcomed girls to the home. We moved on to other countries. Father Wasson opened Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Bolivia, Peru, the Dominican Republic, and Haiti. So it's 70 years. This is our 70th year we're celebrating this year, and we've helped raise over 20,000 children in our 9 countries. And the unique thing about us is we have the children, but when they turn 18, we don't let them go. Father Wasson firmly believed in education would break the cycle of poverty. Mm-hmm. So we've had graduates from medical school, lawyers. Oh. It's just accountants. And not every child's going to go to college. But if they don't, we make sure they have a vocation so they can be productive citizens in their own country.
That's amazing, Belinda. And in essence, it really does point to the value that we have in human dignity. From the moment of conception to natural death. And in essence, that's kind of why Marina is here and why this is called a life talk, because it really does focus on life. And maybe you can share a little bit about how this really is a part of the whole fabric of your ministry.
Well, yeah, and one of the the pillars, obviously, or we talked about promoting the dignity of the human person and how this enhances the dignity of the person when you find them alone, orphans, or without the resources to be able to continue and flourish the way they're supposed to and they're called to, right? We're all called to spread the essence of a person, but sometimes we're limited because of resources. And having someone that is inspired, and I'm thinking of how in our daily life we're called for seeking for holiness, right? And how can we do it with the smaller things, and just with opening our hearts to the need of the person. And if we could see the need in every single child and how they deserve to flourish and to become to be able to experience the fullness of life just by the generosity of people who choose to accompany them. That's a blessing.
And Father Wasson was certainly a person who clearly opened up his heart to this, to the human person, especially a person who's living on the streets, a little one. You know, Father Mike, how did you come into NPH? What attracted you to it?
When I was pastor at St. Paul's Parish, a couple of my employees had been involved a little bit with NPH, and so they asked if we could host the Studiantina group, which is a music and dance, kind of like ballet folklorico. Mm-hmm. And so we hosted them for a week, and there was a shy little boy. I'm hearing about NPH, but at the same time, I'm meeting the kids, which is the biggest part, meeting the kids. And there was a shy little boy, and so I said I would sponsor him. And from there, it just went. And first writing letters to him, learning from him how important it was. This first time I went to El Salvador, which is where he's from, which was about 2 years after we had met, he took me to the dorm where he lived, showed me his bed, his locker. They have a little locker, and all their possessions are in this little locker. Mm-hmm. He opens it up, and he pulls out first a photo album, because he was traveled to the U.S. in the Studiantina, and so but he knew where all those pictures were from. He knew the city they're all from. He could remember the whole thing. But then he put it back and he pulled out a packet, handed it to me. I took the rubber band up, and it was every letter or card I had ever sent him.
Really?
He kept it. So he taught me how important this relationship was, you know? And it's just grown from there. Just amazing.
That's truly amazing. I never, of course, met Father Wasson. You probably had.
I haven't.
You have not.
No. I knew about him, but I had not met him.
But how about you?
Yes, I did.
And,
I got to spend time
he was kind of gregarious in his own way, right? And certainly energetic.
He was feisty, energetic, and he had a mission to help children.
Yeah.
And those in needs in the countries where we serve.
Yeah, and I think he's buried here in Phoenix, is he not?
In the diocese.
In the diocese. Yeah, he's in Prescott, right? Or he's
up near there.
Up near
there.
Yeah. Somewhere.
Cottonwood,
I guess, somewhere.
Up near there, yeah.
Well, that's great. Yeah. Well, but he started out, if I recall, he wanted to come into the diocese at the time, the Diocese of Tucson. We've split off from the Diocese of Tucson, but in the seminary he was not accepted, and I think it had something to do with his health or so.
With his health, yes.
So he ended up going to where was he then? He went into the seminary down in.
No, he was probably 90% through the seminary.
It was in his last year.
Oh, I see.
Of theology.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And when they said, no, you've got a health issue. We don't want the burden.
Right.
He went to Mexico City and was teaching at the University of Americas there.
And so he was ordained in Mexico City?
In Cuernavaca.
In Cuernavaca,
yeah.
For the Diocese of Cuernavaca.
Yes, exactly.
Well, everything took off from there.
It certainly did. Who would have thought 70 years ago?
For a man who seemed to have health problems, if we all had the same kind of energy, we'd probably be changing the world. But So I'm just wondering how we might be able to participate in Nuestros Pequeños Hermanos. It is not an orphanage. I understand that. And I think a lot of people have that notion that perhaps it is an orphanage. What is the distinction? How would you say this is different than an orphanage?
It's a family. It's one big family. Mm-hmm. So we take care of about 9,000 children right now in the 9 countries we're working in. Probably 3,000 of those children live in our residential program, live in our homes, and the rest live in the communities with their families. And we really believe keeping the kids with their families and that family unit together is important for the growth of the child. So we work hard with the families to make sure that children have an education, have health care, and are going to be wonderful citizens in their own countries.
Right.
And then in Haiti, we have a huge presence. We probably take care of over 3,000 kids in Haiti, in our home and in our community. But the other unique thing that we opened in Haiti in 1989 was the St. Damien's Pediatric Hospital.
Oh.
So Father Wasson and Father Rick Frechette, he is a Passionist priest from Connecticut. They were in Honduras, and they ran into Mother Teresa, St. Teresa now,
right.
And she said, I love what you're doing here, but I have a home in Haiti of mothers who are dying, and I have no place to put their children. So they just listened to Mother Teresa. They went to Haiti, and they opened a home for children up in the mountains. But when Father Rick got there, he realized not only did they need a home and a priest, but they need a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So he went back to medical school, opened up the St. Damien Pediatric Hospital in Haiti. And to this day, we're the only freestanding pediatric hospital that treats children with malnutrition. We have an oncology department for children. It's amazing what they do, a cardiac surgery for children, and they are going strong even in the crises right now in Haiti.
I just love the fact that we continue to work for those who are just struggling, just to get through life, and that's really a part of our gospel that comes alive in a very tangible way. We're not shy to proclaim the gospel by word, but we're also not shy as a people of faith to proclaim the gospel in deed. And this is just one more example of the many arms outstretched in the life of the church.
You know, Bishop, I tell people that we take these children, many of whom would end up on the streets, mm-hmm. even if they have family, but they're so poor that eventually the kids would have gone onto the streets. They would be fodder for cartels, for gangs,
right.
for problems. And we bring these children in, teach them morals, responsibility, unconditional love, that they're important. We help raise them into learning who they are as a God-created individual, and make them feel important, each one important, instead of trash.
And I think that's it's great that we're doing our part to reach out to them. But another aspect that I find very intriguing for Nuestros Pequeños Hermanos, or NPH, is that a lot of our youth or young adults here in the U.S. or other parts of the world are interested in participating. And when I was in Honduras, that was my introduction to NPH. It was great just to see the number of young adults who were going there in sort of an internship with an internship experience, and then from there, some signed on to be, employed, and to work there on a more regular basis. But maybe you can talk about that. What does that mean? And I'm wondering how our diocese, especially our youth and young adults, might be able to participate.
Oh my gosh, that's one of the most exciting things about my job is I get to take immersion trips with the local Catholic schools in this diocese. I've gone with St. Mary's High School, Notre Dame Prep High School, Brophy, OLPH Scottsdale, and OLPH Glendale. And we take these kids on an immersion trip to the home for 5 to 7 days. And they live and they walk in the footsteps of the children at the homes. They have to do the same chores. They have to eat the same food, rice and beans, and then beans and rice. And it's creating relationships. And over the 20 years I've been doing this from this diocese, we've had over 30 students, once they graduate university, who come back and do 1 year or more of being an international volunteer.
Isn't that amazing?
It truly is.
That's fantastic. And then beyond the volunteerism, do some of them then take? Some of them stay. They're employed in some way, or what?
Some stay.
How does that?
Mostly will come back after 1 or 2 years, and then they're ambassadors, and they're helping bring awareness to our needs and what the home needs. They're very compassionate. They want to make a difference, and they realize it doesn't take a whole lot to make a difference in the countries where we serve.
Bishop, the other thing I think is always important, especially when we take children down, it's not a one-way street. In other words, our children also are learning incredibly. I have never been in one of the groups going down there with kids where at least one student doesn't say, "Father, I don't get it. These kids have nothing, and they're so happy."
Right. Right.
And our kids are just amazed that there is a life without stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just amazing.
And I think that whole immersion experience is better than say a family vacation. People can go and you can learn a lot when you go on a family vacation, but to be immersed is a very different reality. You're participating in the life of another human being, and you come away with a whole new vision of humanity and of your own self. You start to come
really,
back.
I've seen it many times.
Yeah.
It's a blessing to see.
Yeah. Well, we have in the diocese, and I'm very happy that Marina is here. She's participant in this wider human dignity office under Father Andres Arango, who is the vicar for human dignity. And we've been talking about trying to engage our young adults in that reality. Many of our young adults are excited about being members of the church, but often they don't have those opportunities to get out there and to be immersed in the lives of others. They're immersed in, say, liturgy or prayer, but it's so much more when they're able to be immersed in the life and find Christ in the least among us. And that's what I like about this new office for human dignity, that where we're able to look at another person in the eye and see our equal. In fact, we even have a program called I, which is Engage Your Equal. And so we're sending some young adults to Africa, and our goal is to get them to be participants in NPH in an even greater way. So if you're interested in participating in NPH, we invite you to see visit us here at the Diocese of Phoenix, and we can point you in that direction. Or you can go directly to NPH. And is there a website?
Certainly there is, yes. nphusa.org.
That's easy enough, nphusa.org, and that'll be listed right here below. So please take a look at that as well. nphusa.org. And I'm grateful to the two of you for being here and really, shedding some light on NPH, but also helping us to see that the gospel message is more than just words. It's the gospel in action. And I want to thank you for joining us today for Life Talk. And please like and subscribe and send us your ideas in the comment section for future episodes. So have a blessed day.